Why doesn't Andy have a dad, and why does their family have to move in the first Toy Story movie? I'm curious to know what you think, so leave me a comment and then stay tuned as I tell you what I've pieced together.
You have McGann, the fangirl. Make sure you subscribe and check back every week for new fandom videos. So when Andy moves in Toy Story, we see some upgrades to his family lifestyle. Sure, the house itself seems like a comparable size to his old house, but the yard is undoubtedly bigger, and the house is made out of brick, which tends to signify a more expensive home and neighborhood. Actually, we can prove this because when Andy's neighbor Sid comes home, we hear police sirens in the background.
You guys don't get it, do you? Once we go into Sid's house, we won't be coming out!
Now, in real life, that could have been a random background event that the editor missed, but Toy Story isn't real life. People always want to know why I overthink these movies, and it's because every detail in these movies were meticulously thought out, and that specific sound effect was inserted to tell us that this is a dangerous area. And even though Andy's home looks nice and friendly, it's not uncommon to see neighborhoods go south over the years. As newer, nicer, more expensive homes get built, the older homes get dated and run down, which makes them cheaper and allowing, well, not always the best type of people to move in. It happens everywhere. So Andy's family shelled out some money to move to a nicer location. Simple as that. Yet Andy's mom is a single lady, and we tend to get a perception of single parents as being broke and struggling. Something just doesn't add up. And the mise-en-scène of the film actually tells us a lot here. So let's take a minute to analyze what we know about Andy's mom, Jennifer Davis. First, I realized that aside from Buzz Lightyear, all of Andy's toys are from the 80s or earlier. Okay, timeline-wise with the original movie, Andy would have been born in the late 80s, but you usually don't buy an infant all the toys they'll ever own. I mean, maybe Mr. Potato Head and a few other preschool toys like Rex, but an Etch-a-Sketch, Slinky Dog, board games? Straight up 90s kid moment here, we played 13 Dead End Drive, not the games on Andy's shelf. Even the Barbie Molly gives away in Toy Story 3 is not just a random generic Barbie, it's 1984's aerobic instructor Barbie. Trust me, I have a whole other channel where all we do is play with toys, so I know what I'm talking about here. And seriously, Molly wasn't born until the mid-90s, so why would she have that specific doll? And no, I doubt it was Miss Davis's doll because she's a Marie Kondo type. If something doesn't bring her joy, she sells it, donates it, or pitches it in the trash. She has zero emotional attachment to things, just people. So I find it extremely unlikely that she would hang on to her old toys to pass them down. And I actually almost made a video saying how poor they were that Miss Davis could only buy older, used toys, but that doesn't make sense with them moving to a nicer area. Then I recalled another video I saw years ago, I think it was from Super Carlin Brothers, saying that Andy's dad had passed away, but those are his photos in the background of the house in the original Toy Story film. Okay, I'm willing to accept that headcanon, but I've been married for 12 years now, and aside from my graduation photo that my mom recently gave back to me, the only youngins on my wall are our kids. My husband and I don't own or hang our own elementary school pictures on the walls, so that detail, if accurate, tells a lot more of a backstory. Basically, I don't think the house the Davis family occupies in Toy Story 1 is their own house. I think it belonged to Andy's dad in a very specific way. Now, I would guess that Andy's parents were pretty young when Andy was born. Even in Toy Story 3, Miss Davis doesn't look very old. And in the first two films, she appears to be in her mid-20s, suggesting that she had Andy as a teenager, or maybe in her very early 20s. If that were the case, the young couple wouldn't have two nickels to rub together and would have only been able to make ends meet by moving in with Andy's dad's parents, which would also mean that Andy's mom would have no say-so about the interior design of the house. She was just newly married, living with her new husband and new baby in someone else's home. Very awkward. So when Andy was born, his grandparents raided their attic and pulled out all of Andy's dad's old toys. I'd also wager that Andy's dad had a sister who had a Barbie or two in her day. I wonder if that sister could be the mysterious Imogene from the postcard in Andy's room. It's not impossible, at least. But back to the house, I would like to speculate that while Andy's parents were getting on their feet and saving up some money, Andy's dad's parents, so Andy's grandparents, passed away, leaving the house to Andy's dad, who then left it to his mom when he died too. But by the time the grandparents passed away, even though Jennifer Davis could redecorate, everyone was already used to how the house looked, so there was no point in redecorating, ultimately meaning the photos of a young Andy's dad stayed up on the walls where they had always been. However, after Andy's father died and the neighborhood kept going downhill, Miss Davis eventually felt like there were too many ghosts in that house, so she moved. Not only to get a better neighborhood, but to get a fresh start in a house that was just her own. But how does a single mother with a young son and toddler daughter afford a nicer house? Easy! For one, since the first house was inherited, Andy's parents have had years to save up money to move. And two, I'd bet you that Andy's dad had life insurance. And while life insurance can take a long time to come through, once it did, Andy's mom had enough money to move and maybe even have a nice financial cushion to keep sending Andy to cowboy camp and things like that. And that really nicely explains this big plot hole in Toy Story. Miss Davis hung on to so many toys from the 60s through the 80s because they weren't hers. And she didn't feel right to get rid of those toys because they had been so important to her husband and his family. Plus, it was a small way for Andy and Molly to stay connected with their father. And that also covers why Andy hung on to so many preschool toys even though he was about to go to college in Toy Story 3. I mean, really, I get Buzz, Woody, Jessie, and Bullseye, but Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head? Rex? Those are not toys that the average older child still treasures. You know, most of us get new toys as we age and stop using baby toys as much. But to each their own. It might not be reality, but theories are more fun.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. Did I totally forget the words? Because I think I totally just forgot the next line. Da-da-da. Lonely and forgotten, never thought she'd look my way. Then she smiled at me and held me, just like she used to do when she loved me, for she loved me. That doesn't feel right. I don't know that one so well, I guess. My bad. It's extra specialty derps today.
Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. I get a lot of comments that say, do a theory on this topic, but I've already done those theories. So please consider going to my main channel page and clicking on the video tab so that way you can see everything I've done. You will probably find a lot of things you like that you never even knew that I posted. I want to let you know that I also have two other channels, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming and the Fanily Family Vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to hit subscribe and share. I can use all the help I can get to let other people know that this channel exists. And if you made it this far, leave me a comment that says something like, hey, I made it to the end, and then let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I can't make any promises, but the more people that request something, the more I can look into it. Okay, well, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.